Off a day, Facebook, Chris Barnett from the KUAM News Team.
Off a day, Sabrina Salas and Matt Tanani.
And I could just feel the history in the air here at the University of Guam Cabo Fieldhouse. The herstory, sorry. The herstory. That's right. That's going to take some getting used to. As people are already starting to come in here to the UOG Cabo Fieldhouse for this historic inauguration. Of course, Guam's first woman governor, Guam's first openly gay lieutenant governor, and actually the first openly gay lieutenant governor
in the nation.
That's pretty amazing. And earlier today, they swore in the Democratic supermajority, also a female majority in the legislature. And there was a moment when the camera had in one shot the heads of the three branches of government, the judicial branch, of course, with Chief Justice Catherine Merriman, Governor Lulia Guerrero, and then Speaker of the Legislature, Speaker Tina Munia Barnes, all three heads of state, all women. And, my heart kind of skipped a beat there, Bree.
It certainly did. And some of the things that the speaker touched upon were about female empowerment. She started off her speech with first recognizing 75 years of freedom and thanking all of our elders that were watching for their contributions to our community and just to how we enjoy the freedoms that we do today. She also talked about the two people that inspired her and gave her start in politics, first being Governor Carl Gutierrez. She told a story that she was working at the Department of Integrated Services the Public Defender's Office,
right.
And she got a call from from Governor Gutierrez, and DISID was actually created by then Senator Lulian Guerrero. And so Carl told her that he needed somebody with a big heart, and Dina responded, "Well, I am that woman." The other person that she thanked, of course, was her father, the late Bill Munia, who taught her life lessons that she applies in life and in leadership. She said that being speaker is more about listening than speaking, and hearing both sides of a debate, enforcing rules, and ensuring that everyone's voice is heard. And she said that you have to be honest even when it hurts, and to respect one another. She talked about the work that lies ahead, the 35th Guam legislature, how they have to re-energize the economy, reform our government, make change our friend and not our enemy. She also talked about choices that they make. They must be open and honest and subject to the bright light of scrutiny, and that they will collaborate with the Leon Guerrero Tenorio administration. On female empowerment, she said that through the years, politics have been dominated by men. There is a need for women representation. No one can advance women issues than women themselves. And she actually quoted somebody, that was words from Lulian Guerrero, and she said that she ran for governor and she won. She said that we've doubled the numbers in the legislature, and today we have made history. We are joining the ranks of pioneers who set the standard that we must uphold, recognizing Cecilia Bamba, Elizabeth Areola, Candelaria Rios, Agata Johnston, Gloria Nelson, Ignacia Bordallo Butler, Maria Palomo, Ada, Speaker Judy Wanpat, and of course, Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting when we talk about this wave of women leadership that hit Guam in 2018, 2019, and then they go back and mention all the great female leaders that are sprinkled throughout our history. So I kind of was sitting there saying, we've had a lot of great women leaders throughout the history of Guam, community leaders, civic leaders, political leaders. And so it was just kind of swelled my heart, and one of the feelings I'm getting here is the Democrats are kind of saying that they finally did it. I mean, they were able to fold Carl Gutierrez into, it's no secret, he never really endorses the Democratic primary winner. They were able to do it, and that's kind of the feeling, is there's a real sense of unity here in the UOG Cabo Fieldhouse, in that the Democratic Party, which is traditionally splintered, managed to unify itself enough to win. And we talked with some people who have worked with the Gutierrez administration. They said, hey, it's been 16 long years, we did it, and we're back. And I think today is going to be a celebration not only of Magahaga and Femalauan rising, but also of the Democrats coming back into power in both the legislature and the executive branch.
And they're really ready to get to work. So later you'll hear from some of the people we spoke with earlier today about how they're energized and they're ready to go take on some of the issues that are confronting our island. And already there was a release that came out just before the inauguration today, the ceremony, from the Leon Guerrero Tenorio Santo administration that the governor will be out at the Department of Revenue Taxation tomorrow morning to visit with employees, to visit with the director, Daphne Shimizu, and Michelle Santos.
Yeah, so definitely hitting the ground running. I know they have a flag raising tomorrow morning. The legislature, hey, the women got to work too. They introduced, I think, 13 bills this morning. So, we are celebrating, but at the same time, I like it that we're also moving forward with, the work of the people.
Okay. And as we look forward, we're also going to take a look back. Our Nestor Locanto, he's working on this television special, The Governors of Guam. We have some of the clips from that show. Let's take a look.
I did not walk alone to achieve the greatness that the people of Guam deserve. The people of Guam gave me the privilege to serve them and gave me the mandate to work with the members of the legislature, both Democrats and Republicans, and the stakeholders, so that we can meet the challenges of our time to deliver the things that the people of Guam deserve to have. And it is not easy, because the only way you can deliver the greatness of the people is to work with members of the legislature and stakeholders, and it is not easy. I can just imagine, I go back and imagine the days where we had to debate the issues, where we disagree, where we had to compromise, the long hours, the options. That was a long walk. But when you're focused on achieving something, you can overcome anything if you are able to and willing to compromise, to work with the stakeholders and spend the time until you're able to achieve it. It's not always perfect. You don't always get it, but it's there for the taking. And I have to say that we were very fortunate to do all these things. That's why we had the greatest economy during our time. And it's not because of me walking alone. It's with all the stakeholders. It's not me or the people. It is not me, it is the people and the historian that will determine my legacy. And I hope after 25 years, when I pass on to a new life, and I hope my God would allow me into the gate of heaven. But one thing for sure though, I owe the people of Guam a debt of gratitude for allowing me to serve them. This honor I will never, never forget and would treasure it forever.
The can-do governor. I don't take the rules and regulations and stumbling blocks as the final answer. And think that, because they said, this letter said you can't do this, the Fed said you can't do that, and then you end up there and just say, okay, I can't do that because the letter said that. And I'll give you a good example of how I'm able to bring the people of Guam into the 20th century. This was in 95, 96, just before the 20th century goes out, right? I said our people has to be pulled in to the 20th century before you hit 2000. And thousands of people are still, isolated, in the jungles, no running water, no roads, no power, no telephones. And I said, why are these people left out? Why are they marginalized so? Bringing people, the entire island as one family, never marginalizing anyone. Being able to be a real and true Magalahi. Because a real and true Magalahi as we know it in our culture, is the chief of the village, the governor of Guam, whatever you want to call them, but he has to be, accessible and be in the public square, standing there so people can come and talk to you, tell you their problems, and hopefully you can make things right for them. So that's what I was. I mean, I was a real Magalahi. My wife was Jerry Gutierrez was a real Magahaga. So being accessible to the people, to listen to them and let them tell you their problems, because not only are you going to help them, you make them feel that they matter.
I tended to be a lot more conservative than media, which I consider to be liberal. So the relationship between my administration in my first term, especially, and the media was not as good as it could have been. But beyond that, when I look at that issue versus everything else, it just pales in comparison to all the other challenges. When a man is laid to rest in his final days, he doesn't look back and think, I should have worked harder. I should have put more effort into this or into that. I think what one values more so are relationships with those that really matter to you, your family, and those that you care for. And, and so with my family, if there's any regret, it was always the fact that it took up so much of my time to be governor. And so people don't realize it, but to be in a leadership position requires a sacrifice. And oftentimes you sacrifice your family. They pay the price because you can't give them the attention and the time that they need because you're responsible and caring for everyone else. I remember having a conversation with my kids saying, we don't see much of you anymore. You're always at work, or you're traveling, or you're in meetings, and you can't take a phone call. And I had to tell my daughter, the youngest one then, is I'm sorry, but you are my children, and but I have a bigger family now, and that's the people of Guam, so you have to sacrifice along with me. And so that's always I think the biggest regret is not finding enough balance for everything else, because you get so consumed in your role as governor.
The good Lord has given every single individual in this world a unique talent, a unique skill. So you make the most of it. But then being a governor and you make a decision, especially ones that are breaking the status quo, there are millions of different things that could happen or not happen that can affect what will happen as a result of that decision that is pivotal. So you can think all the possible angles of you make this decision, what may happen or may not happen. And it's pretty significant. So all that's left is then that quiet meditation and then prayer. And it's amazing, after prayer, then you wait for the silence. And every major decision I've made, that answer came to me. If you're asking about an epiphany, that one moment, it came with silence. The government that I leave to the next administration, the island that we all live in, that I step away, that this island, this government, and our people, that it is better off than it was when I first came in. That's my hope.
And we're here with Mr. David Della Sola, who is the appointee, the Leon Guerrero Tenorio appointee, chosen to lead the Department of Labor. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you, and I appreciate the Lieutenant Governor and the Governor for their confidence in me.
And you've actually done this job before, and when Lou talked about the experience and then the youthful energy that comprises her cabinet level, She was talking about experience and talking about what you're bringing to the table.
Well, I also hope that I bring some youthfulness into it.
Just a little.
Yes, just a little bit. Yes, I got 12 years in. I had 5 years in DYA and 3.5 years in the Department of Labor and 4 years in Agency for Human Resources Development. So yes, I have 12 years in director experience and with 7 of it at labor itself.
Nice. And so Department of Labor, there's a ton of issues that involve Department of Labor. What are some of the things that you're excited to work on moving forward?
Of course, we're going to continue and develop our close relationship with the military and in getting their help with our H2s and work with the Congress and also the governor, who's also working with Washington about getting our H2s not only for inside the fence but also outside the fence. And also we like to make sure that we get in all our unemployment and employment reports in, and we are hoping to get together and start working on meeting and get some of our worker comp cases taken care of and wage and hour issues taken care of. So we do have a lot of work to do, but they are also doing some good things there still.
I'm curious if you've had a chance to meet with your team at Department of Labor, and what was that like?
Yes, I was part of the transition team. So I've met with pretty much all the administrators down there and discuss what our challenges are. Of course, a lot of the challenges is the decreased staffing. They are probably almost 25 to 30% less employees than when I was there years ago. So we have to kind of see what our priorities are and kind of know that we can't do everything in every division, but we should prioritize and organize and see what we can do and make sure that we do what is important to the people and what needs to be done, especially in workers' comp and wage and hour and enforcement. Those are things that we really need to pay attention to.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, and good luck, and we look forward to seeing you a lot in the next 4 years.
And I look forward to serving the people of Guam. Thank you very much.
Well, it was on Sunday that we broadcast a special edition of the After Party where we interviewed Governor-elect Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. Here's a portion of that interview.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to what's going to happen in this year, and Josh and I are running. We're right there. We're urgent about stuff. And, we know exactly what our platform is, what we want to do. We're going to focus really heavily on finances. We're going to look at ways that we can cut costs, and we're already finding ways. And, look at funding that is not being used, that should be used. A lot of federal monies that was returned back to the government, about $49 million. Josh will probably talk about it more, but he's going to be heading the state clearinghouse.
Nice.
And he's already looking at really good people to run that, and he's going to be focused on that because that's federal dollars that we can use to provide better service. The whole IT of the government, I'd like to totally reassess that, review that. See how we can make it work so people talk to each other, For example, Department of Land Management, their system's not talking to the Department of Revenue and Tax, so they don't have up-to-date information about change of titles, that kind of stuff. We're losing revenues from that. We're losing revenues from condominiums. Just a lot of leakage, I think, that it's not hard to close. And I think you just have to have the persistence and the diligence to be right there. So we're working very closely with those people.
For my reset for federal funds, I said at that debate that there was over $49 million that was returned. So the way I envision the clearinghouse is really like an intervention team. I'll have accounting people there, I'll have program people, I'll have procurement people there, people that can see in advance what agencies are maybe underperforming and try and get in there and try and push it up. So some people have said, you need to go out and bring the money, but I think that we need to spend the money that we're getting.
Right.
So that's my refresh for clearinghouse. And for beautification, I think it's going to be working frontline with the mayors. We're moving them back to Guadalupe after 16 years. there's some funds and resources out there that I'd like to, get out. And I tell you, when I've been canvassing, especially up here up north in the Chamorro Land Trust areas, there's a lot of cleaning up to do. And if we're going to have our young people feel good about the place that we live in, we better clean it up so they can be proud of it. So, but on the other side, I came from the court. I've always been leading both here and nationally a lot of criminal justice reform efforts. So I'll be focusing a lot on working a lot with the team that we have in place. Very excited about it. I think we have a high-performing team, both up there and in DYA that will be announced shortly. And changing the way that we're handling people, looking at people for people and not treating them as numbers, trying to get some effective programming in there so we can drop the crime and drop recidivism. I'll be spending a lot of time in those areas. And then, of course, I've been helping the governor push and helping her sort out the administration. So I'll be using my office to help her lead the government. So I'm happy.
And you can watch the full interview with Governor Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio right now on our YouTube page as well as on our Facebook page. It's a special edition of The After Party. With us now is the program director for the big event today, the inauguration, Cliff Guzman. How are you doing?
Doing well, actually doing well. We've got a great team cranking here and everything's falling into place.
Take us through today's program.
Well, today's program, we're going to start with, of course, recognizing all the distinguished visitors. And then we're going to introduce all the special guests as they come on the stage, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do that to the Guam March. More appropriate, what's more appropriate. And then the big event when the Lieutenant Governor-elect and the Governor-elect come out, of course. And that's going to be really exciting. We want to pump that up. And then we've got a couple of things in, some cultural things going on. There's a lot of stuff. And then the big event, the real big event, the administrations of the oaths. And, everything kind of centers around that. And then we have very special gifts that have been put together by three of Guam's masters. And Jill Beneventi, Joe Guerrero, Greg Pangilinan. And so those are going to be presented to the Lieutenant Governor, the Governor, and the First Gentleman, or First Dude. And so those are going to be presented, and Ifanalayon's going to come up, and they're going to do a very special chant for that. So there's going to be a lot of fun things. And then, of course, you got to, once they're in and they're sworn in, then it's all about the confetti and the yay,
the party.
Yeah, the party.
Celebration.
A lot of food out here. We have enough to feed 2,000-3,000 people easily. And lots of entertainment, too, as well. It's a celebration. First woman to come, Governor Magahaga, it's wow. That's pretty cool. Yep. And then, we've got First Lieutenant Governor, youngest Lieutenant Governor. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And so, one of the things I thought was really cool about the inauguration is not a single public dime. I mean, generous sponsors. You want to tell us a little bit about the sponsors?
I have to tell you, the sponsors have been amazing. They've raised so much money. And, of course, the issue is still, we've got Tony Sanford at the helm for Treasury, so it doesn't matter how much money you got, this is what you get to spend. And she's been really good about that. And so I think that's kind of a harbinger of the administration. It doesn't matter if the money is there, we're not going to go out and spend it just because we have it. And that's evident in everything that's been going on so far. There's been a lot of thought going into it and a lot of back and forth about, do we really need to spend this? That's a good thing.
Well, I know one of the things that we heard, we were speaking with some people, one of the ushers, and they were talking about everybody has a uniform, everybody has these scarves that they're wearing. Tell us about the symbolism behind that.
Well, I think the symbolism, it's got a little bit of that orange love, But I think more importantly, we needed some way for people to be able to identify if they needed some help, and I don't know where's the ladies' room, whatever that is. We had an opportunity to help them out.
Right.
But, it's like anything else. If you have a team, you've got them in uniform, you've got them all pulled together, I mean, those uniforms really help build that teammanship, you know,
Right.
a lot of pride.
Right, and they were saying that some of the colors that are in the scarves represent the different democratic
Administrations, yeah, and then talking with one of the ushers, they showed me, okay, this color is for the Redalia administration, this one's for Uncle Carl, and then Lou and Josh, custom made, and I like that the guys have the ties and the ladies have the scarves.
Yeah, why not? You know, I mean, I just like the idea of the teammanship that's gone into this, because that's a really good thing. That's a great way to start. You got to have a team, you know, and they're excited about it. And you know, it's been 16 long years for the Democrats, and why not proudly wear the colors, everyone's colors, you know? It's all good.
So what about you? Are you going to be working in the administration?
Me? No.
He's doing too good in the private sector.
Well, the private sector been good to me. Yes, that's true.
Right, yeah.
But no, I think, you know, I'm here to serve and help any way I can. There's a lot of great brains out there. We have a lot of young people coming up. They need to have that same opportunity I was given back in Carl Gutierrez's day. You know, I was so honored to have that opportunity and got a lot done, and I'm proud of it. And I think there's so much more that our people can give, and we all need to bring everyone together. That's the whole point of the scarves, isn't it?
Right.
Unity, bring everyone together. Let's do this as one.
Nice. But I'm sure if that phone rings and it's Adelup calling and they need, you know, Cliff's advice on something, you won't hesitate to give that advice.
Oh, absolutely not. I didn't hesitate through any administration. I helped Joe Ada to call when Felix Camacho called, when Eddie Calvo called. Yes. It's about Guam. It's not about your party.
Right.
It's about Guam, you know?
But today is about the party because we are having a party later.
You know,
we got entertainment.
What did some other radio broadcaster, who won't mention his name, said party Democrat and do whatever else with the Republican?
Well, speaking of the party, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to the live broadcast on KUM TV 11, also streaming right here on our KUM News Facebook page.
Half a day, everybody. Madam Governor-elect, Madam Chief Justice, Madam Speaker, and members of the 35th Guam Legislature, mayors of Guam, judicial officers of Guam, distinguished visitors, my dear people of Guam. Hafa day and good afternoon. I'm honored to serve as the 10th Lieutenant Governor of Guam and grateful for the opportunity to bring positive change to the people of Guam alongside a great partner in our first Mega Haga, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. I'm also grateful that my family, friends, colleagues, and mentors are here to share this moment with me, especially my mom, Therese Taitano Franquez Tenorio. I think about my dad, Jesus Satoigui Tenorio Sus Labutsu Tumbay, who was a retired telephone man and quite the partisan Democrat, and how proud he would be to see his son become Lieutenant Governor of Guam. I think about my grandpa, Joe Jose Pepe Franquez, who was a very stoic, quiet, and humble man, my role model. I try to emulate various aspects of both of them: love of family, love of service, and love of the community. I am also reminded of close friends and supporters who started this campaign with us, but left us unexpectedly. Many of them have passed, but I want to remember my good friend, the late Senator Sonny Lujan Orsini. And two of my paternal figures, Uncle Johnny Chabado, Johnny Camacho from Rancho Camacho, Telefofu, and Papa Ken Regis, retired GPD Colonel in the Guam Police Department, who played important roles in my life. To Governor Enibaza Calvo, First Lady Christine, Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, thank you very much for your years of service to the people of Guam and for a smooth transition. I want to thank all of the previous governors and lieutenant governors for their collective work that has brought Guam to this point, especially Governor Carl Tisa Gutierrez, and Lieutenant Governor Madeline Z. Berdalio, who I served as Deputy Chief of Staff 20 years ago. Although some may say that youth has been good to me, I am actually the 5th eldest Lieutenant Governor, older than Kurt Moylan, Joe Ada, Kaleo Moylan, and even Rudy Sablan. As I look into this crowd, I am filled with hope and enthusiasm. Our new governor and I will deliver the promise we made to you in your homes and in your backyards, to make Guam a safe place, a place where everyone has a fair chance to become prosperous, where you can be assured that our compassionate nature as a people will work to make each day better than the previous one. For me, the weight of this job is balanced by the hope and optimism that have been placed on us, not only by the voters, but by the children of Guam. The most humbling experience I've had this past year have been moments with some of our youngest residents. A week after the election, at Ramon and Jerusha Underwood's wedding mass at Santa Teresita in Manilao, a young boy named Brian and his group of 5 cousins, all between 5 and 9 years of age, were so excited to see me. "Hey Josh, is Lou with you too?" One said, "You made history," said another one. They were so excited to see me and started chatting away. As the kids continued to congratulate me, the big kahuna came in. Governor-elect Lou. "Lou, you made history. You're the first woman governor," said young Brian, his face beaming with pride. "My mom and dad voted for you," said another. "They don't even live together." That wasn't Brian, by the way. The kids were paying attention to the campaign. Some of them watched the debates. Many others told us we had paused their YouTube time with all our ads, but they liked them. They liked the positive messages. On the trail, I met Cassie, a 10-year-old who wanted to take a picture and prove to her classmates that she actually met me. Lou even sent a WhatsApp video to a 5th grader who wanted to be assured that she cares about foster kids. Even Lou's twin granddaughters, Contessa and Paloma, look there, are always happy to see me, but keep asking their nana if I'm her boyfriend. One of my best days canvassing was in Liguan Terrace with my young partners, Cameron Alvarez, a 2nd grader from Jigo, and Dylan, my 1st grade nephew from Sinanya. Cameron is a trooper and is fearless of dogs. Dylan is relentless and won't leave a home until the homeowner will concede that they'd vote for us. These kids trust us. They believe we will do the right thing and we will not let them down. We owe it to them to do the best job possible. I think about this every single day, about the number of people that have placed their trust in us. It is what drives me. I know that we will be confronted by obstacles old and new, but this moment in history imposes a special responsibility for our administration to lead with high standards and have the courage to make hard choices. We can build a government that is responsive, modern, efficient, and worthy of the people's trust. We must work tirelessly to gain the people's trust. In order for true prosperity to be shared by all, there are some measurements that we need to change. More people must graduate from school and join the workforce or go to college if we're going to reduce the staggering signs of poverty all around us. High numbers of our people are out of the workforce, homeless, incarcerated, or addicted to drugs. Governor Lou has empowered me to focus on some of the most complex issues facing our island and direct some resources and attention to making our streets and villages much safer. We have assembled a team that will make strategic improvements to public safety and community health with a considerable shift towards evidence-based practices, community policing, juvenile justice, substance abuse recovery, and true corrections programming. All of this will help to reduce crime and protect our people. I intend to reboot our approach to spending federal funds, and I will play a key role in making our government more transparent by embracing technology, simplifying processes, and making decisions that are based on reliable data. This is a tall task, but considerable progress can be made with the trust and backing of our government employees. Governor Liu and I have a very similar management style, one that embraces and motivates the strengths and talents of our employees. In order to do this, we will earn their respect and confidence. We will empower and invest in our workforce. We will embrace public service. Fairness will be our hallmark, and governing with respect and basic common sense will solve problems and bring us a better future. I'm excited to work closely with the 35th Guam Legislature, which itself is in refresh mode. Fresh eyes, fresh outlooks, fresh perspectives, and approaches to make Guam better. And might I add, a supermajority of women. The members will be working collectively to provide a future for our families. I'm also looking forward to working with our mayors and vice mayors, and I am happy they will return to Adelup to work closely with our administration. If we align our resources with those on the front lines of public service, I am certain we can provide the services our residents need and make our beautiful island clean and sustainable. I am grateful for my former colleagues at the Judiciary of Guam, led by a distinguished panel of jurists and driven by one of the most productive workforces on Guam. I still miss working with all of you and look forward to working closely to improve justice on Guam, especially those efforts being led in the Superior Court to reduce recidivism, improve detention decisions, and tackling the long-standing substance abuse problem. You can count on my advocacy and support. Although you have lost some of your most talented managers because of my election, I can assure you that better results are in store at the Department of Corrections and the Department of Youth Affairs. The years ahead will be filled with many challenges and opportunities, but this year especially, we owe it to ourselves and our families to put our best foot forward. This year is the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Guam, and despite the continued strain and dissatisfaction we may have with the aspects and difficulties of our status as an unincorporated territory, we must celebrate our freedom. We must remember the sacrifices made by our Manamko, especially those that endured the most horrifying situations. We must remember and value the lives lost and the scars of battle that were worn by a very young liberating force of service members. On our shores, especially on those beaches in Asin and Agate, parents from across the United States lost their sons for us. 75 years later, our people, our government, our leaders have much to celebrate. We transformed an isolated and war-damaged island into one of the most stable and economically developed islands in the Pacific. We have shepherded our Chamorro language and culture into a renaissance, but we can do more. We must celebrate the cultural melting pot that is Guam, empowered by the strength of the Chamorro and inspired by the differences of others who call Guam home. We must value our elders and be helpful to one another. We must like each other. We must help each other succeed. We must empower the talent of our island. Our young people represent the most talented generation in our history. Their creativity, innovation, and compassion have the promise to eclipse even the greatest generation. They are driven towards service to others and the pursuit of a just society. We need their help. So, to all of the young people listening to us right now, I ask you to rise up. Rise up and share your talents. Rise up and put your ideas into action. Rise up to serve your community. Rise up to stand for equality for all and against discrimination. Rise up to protect our environment. Rise up to move our island forward. One day, history will judge Governor Liu and me. I'm hoping this history will be about a series of victories, not the victories from an electoral win, but of victories yet to come, large and small, that made Guam a place that is fair, safe, compassionate, and prosperous. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the era of the MAGA Haga, and I trust and believe that our better days are ahead with a strong mother, grandmother, nurse, businesswoman, and leader in the driver's seat. I'm certain we will get there. You can bank on that. Pues, si Dios maasi por ifinatunmitu guini especialmente todo y tautau sinanyas en talufofu. Sen agradeci para todo y familiaku, familia Labutsu, Lasaru, Gaga, Charot, Gogu, Atoigui, Luhans, and Frunkis. Sen magavjus at Gaigi Hamzuguini, put for bot, Zangin Guahatem Ponmo Hasudud, Zansilud, Zantazuzuti Ham, Tibai Humalefa Hamzu. Kuntodu Hagu Itato Guam. God bless you. God bless Guam. Thank you for your prayers and keep them coming.
Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, Madam Speaker, Madam Chief Justice, members of the Diplomatic Corps, senators of the 35th Guam Legislature, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, my fellow citizens. Buenas Zanhafade. 47 years ago, Governor Carlos Camacho stood before the people of Guam as our first elected governor. Today, I am only the 8th person and the first woman to have been chosen by the people to lead our island. It is an honor I hold deep in my heart and a responsibility I embrace willingly. At 47 years old, we are a young government, relatively speaking, and as such, we have our challenges, but we are also a strong democratic government made of strong people who have overcome great challenges that have collectively made us far wiser than our 47 years. Spanish occupation, American occupation, Japanese torture, imprisonment, forced labor, liberation, and the frustration of still not having had the right to choose our own destiny. This is our history. And it has made us what we are today, a savory melting pot of cultures that live and work together, take the best of what each has to offer, and who, as a community, try to grow stronger each year. Governor Cavo and Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, I want to thank you for your gracious cooperation throughout the transition process and for the many years of public service you have given to our island. 2 months ago, people from every walk of life heard our call for change. And as Josh mentioned, now it is our responsibility to do our best to deliver on what we've promised. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We must raise the income of our working families. We have to decrease the rising tide of crime that stills our safety and robs us of our peace of mind. We must build safe schools and repair those that are falling apart. We have to fix our broken streets, and we will again regain the accreditation of our hospital. We will inform you on how we use your monies, the public monies. With your participation and cooperation, we will grow and make our economy strong. Our challenges are real, and they are many. They weren't caused, though, by just one party or just one set of leaders. We won't solve them all today, tomorrow, or even 100 days from now, but know this, we will solve them together. Democrat, Republican, or independent, whether you voted for me, made another choice, or didn't vote at all, I now need your help, and Guam needs you even more, because no one, no elected leader, governor, or captain of industry can deliver the change we require alone. Guam needs every person from every walk of life, from every place of faith, and from every corner of our island. If you are in the workplace, we need you as a partner to come together and work with us on innovative strategies to establish new economic industries and to create better paying jobs. Our young people are smart. They are masters of technology. We need to tap into that potential as our island and the global workforce grow more technological. We need to provide our sons and daughters and grandchildren with the education, the skills, and the tools needed to graduate from high school, college, or another program. Because when they do this, they enter the workforce ready to compete for secure, good-paying, sustainable jobs. We want our children to be prepared for success and to know that they can raise their family, buy a home, give back to our community, and make Guam the best home it can be for us all. They are our future, and this is perhaps our greatest challenge, to inspire this younger generation, to instill in them the desire to want to be a part of change for the better, to work hard and feel good about it, to work smart and feel good about themselves, to have a purpose and succeed. Nothing is more dangerous to our future as a people than apathy, than the belief that this is the way things are, that we must lower our eyes or manage our expectations. Our people's call for change makes one thing very clear. We have to be ingenious in the way we do business. The era of exploding operational debt, massive budget shortfalls, higher taxes, closed doors, and decreased performance is over. Now is the time for change. We must make the die-hard choices. We cannot forget our teachers. We cannot forget our nurses. We cannot forget our law enforcement officers, and we must not forget our people. The era of taking responsibility for actions is here. Now is a time for change. But change without a plan is just more of the same. That is why today we begin a top-down review of our government's financial health. All assets, liabilities, cash flow models, expenditures, and budgetary projections are now being reassessed. We will keep what works, we will change what has failed us, and we will do better. We are one family, and for our island family to succeed, we must leave no one behind. If you have the privilege of doing business of Guam, if you are longing for a government you can trust, know this. Our promise is more than words. For the first time in decades, we will seat the Guam Ethics Commission. It will hold those of us who work for you to the high ethical standards you expect from your elected officials. The commission will serve as a venue for honest complaints, fair hearings, and resolution. To collect the taxes we are owed, plug the plugs, plug the leaks, and lay all problems to rest, I've directed that the Department of Revenue and Taxation report to me daily until the tax recovery unit is operational and all outstanding audit findings from the Office of Public Accountability are resolved. But change requires more than a laundry list of things to do. It demands that we face old truth, that we take strong steps, and that we admit we have not done so. For too long we have drifted, every year wandering a bit more, of course, struggling to find our way back to prosperity. To restore faith in our future, we must invest in our people, in their jobs, and in the prosperity of their futures. We must give them hope that with hard work, with education and training, their lives will be better. We must also cut our crushing debt and recognize that we live in a world which competes for every opportunity and fights for every bit of growth. We need to make our tiny corner of the Western Pacific a place that people want to do business with, to visit, to invest in. Government can do many things, but government cannot do everything. The work before us is not for government alone. We must partner with businesses and nonprofit groups to support families in need, the elderly and the disabled. We must reconnect our frayed communities. While government is responsible to every citizen is also responsible to themselves and to one another. We need to build a culture in which it is unacceptable to assault someone, to beat someone up, to bully someone. We must work together to create an island community in which our children and grandchildren can go to school and feel safe, where they play together with other children, no matter where they are from. Real change demands that we change more than our policies. It also demands that we change our politics. I know that powerful forces will always keep a score of who is ahead or who is behind, of who is winning the day or losing it. But somewhere beyond the comfort of our air-conditioned offices, a single mom juggles 2 jobs and the care of her children. And business owner struggles to pay his employees, provide them health care, and still stay afloat. They are paying for us to be here. We need to be worthy of their hard-earned tax dollars. Let us trade competition for cooperation. Let us reform our politics to work more for the powerless and not the powerful who can take care of themselves. Change will not come because we waited. It will come because we worked for it, because we acted boldly, recognizing right as well as reality. I know much will be said about the history I have made today, but I would not be here today were it not for the strong women on whose shoulders I now stand. Women like Rosa Agigi Regis and Mariana Lujan, the first women elected to the Guam Congress in the late 1940s. Cynthia Torres, an educator and a businesswoman, and Lagramas Leon Guerrero Antillon, a dynamic teacher and an accomplished pianist, the first women elected to the 3rd Guam legislature in 1954. Conception Barrett, an accomplished legal scholar, her education and willingness to serve gave her the capacity to enact Guam's criminal and correctional codes, setting the legal foundation for Guam's public safety community. Madeline Berdaliu, our first female congressional delegate and lieutenant governor. Dr. Judith Wonpat, our first elected female speaker. Justice Janet Healy Weeks, the first female judicial officer. The indomitable Agda Iglesias Johnston, an educator and civic leader who sought to improve the living conditions of all of Guam's people. And of course, my own mother, Eugenia Afligui Leon Guerrero, who helped me be the strong woman I am today. These women faced mountainous obstacles, still they climbed. They persisted because, true to our island's history and Chamorro heritage, they were strong women who stood up for what they believed in and knew that the path they were taking would one day blaze a trail for women like me. My friends, today we walk in their inspiring footsteps. Today belongs to them, to our mothers and our grandmothers, but most of all, it belongs to our daughters, and to the belief that if you are committed and you work hard, you can be the change you wish to see and spread that change like the sea that washes into our shores. Now is our people's time. We are kind and understanding. We are respectful and we are generous. We are compassionate and considerate. We are courageous and bold. Men met good hit. Change is here, and I promise you this. Change will make us a stronger, better Guam for everyone who calls our island home. As our new Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio just mentioned, yes, I am a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. I am a nurse, a former lawmaker, and a successful businesswoman. And starting today, I am incorporating the strongest qualities from all of these roles in my life to serve as your governor of Guam. Magufaman si Diyos, pagparain sep bihamzu, ginini posisyon magahaga, zan ginini posisyon isigundo na magalahi. Hunggan bula problemata, Lotiman Makat man mafamalik. Sa Hafa, sa Hita itato Gohan, itato Marianas, man malati hit. Man sincero hit, man guy respeto hit, man met good hit, and man bumutsatsu hit. Pues esticia na kwalidata, hunggan sinya muna lafomolik inilalata mo na. Maila zata protehi inilalata ni famaguanta, zani famaguun niha. Pues gini ni donkulu zan tadung kini kurson mami inayam zu donkulu na agradecimento pudi supportin mizu. Pudi grinaizen mizu ni hami and sijas. Za angin magahit tanai todo tati gitauto Igwinaizen mami ni Hamzu. Pues maila za te celebra esti nadia sa tisinya esti nadia muna posibli angin ti itsetsu mizu. Maila za ta fambaila, maila za ta fangimin, maila za ta fanagwaf sa aguba tatutuhon itsitsota. The bottom of my heart and with the support of my husband Jeff and my loving family, I am humble to be the first female governor of Guam, Imagahaga. It is indeed the honor of my life. Let our journey to restore faith in our future begin now. God bless you all.